Well, welcome to the next African Queen adventure. Here we are. I've maybe watched my short video on clutch adjustment and repairing the seal on my PTO, but after adjusting the clutch and taking this thing for a spin, I'm still not satisfied. And I'm out of adjustment, so that tells me my clutch disc is probably just plain worn out. Clutches seem to wear out a little bit faster with PTOs, and who knows how the French drove it. I know when it was in Korea, it was only there for 2 years before it was transferred to the French in '54. So, here where I'm at right now, I pulled my center floor and my driver's floor. You can see my rebuilt hydrovac there, all my new brake stuff. So, what I'm going to do next is I'll go ahead and I'll pull my cable here, speedometer cable, unhook my linkage for my high-low front-wheel drive. I've got to take the winch gear and stuff off, and I'm going to drop the transfer case. Alright, here's where we're at right now. We've got our all of our cotter pins pulled and our bolts pulled on the flange here for our drive shaft. These cotter pins are pulled. I'm going to go ahead and pull my brake goodies, disconnect here, pull my brake goodies. The PTO is freed up for the front our winch. I'm going to drain my oil next because I am going to pull my PTO off. I'm looking at my clearance here. If I drop my tranny, if I leave my transfer case on and drop my tranny, I think my my clearance is going to be pretty tough here, getting past this flange here for my brace. Look at that, holy cow, down she comes. Let's recover our nuts, our washers. Alright, that'll give me much better access to my front drive shaft. Give me better access to my flywheel or my brake bolts here that hold my brake housing onto the track. Really? It's just 3 bolts on the bottom? Nothing on the top? That's very strange. Separate your transfer case. You have, I believe you have, I've got 3 or 4 major bolts in the back, two here, and then you take this cover off, and then there's 2 more or 3 more in here inside the case itself to the transmission. And I had thought about dropping the transfer case, to be honest with you, just to make it a little simpler for weight-wise, but looking at things now, I don't think I will. Pull my brake shoes off my disc and drop this. And then there's 2 bolts that basically remove the parking brake handle assembly, and also at the same time take the PTO assembly out of the way. That is, however, already unhooked here off my linkage here, which will give me a chance to clean this linkage up too. I'd like it a little more free than what it is, so I can replace maybe the cotter pin in there too, clean it up, replace my cotter pin. These guys were excellent engineers back in the day, there's no doubt about it. Slide rules, drafting boards, they were the shit. 7/8 on here. Good guess, Marcus. There's a lot of rain here lately, but today it's just gorgeous. I have not had the opportunity to work on this that I wanted to because I promised my my wife that we'd get the deck redone. And I've been battling wasps and hornets that have built all kinds of nests up in between the railing, which I'll fix by filling that in with foam pieces. I actually hit a nest yesterday that on the house was like a waterfall of wasps just pouring out of there. I'll have to take a picture of that. I might actually show you, but there must have been close to 100 dead wasps. I exaggerate now. I have to get some bigger wrenches. Pouring out of the nest as I was nailing them coming out. I went through 2 cans of spray just to clean that nest out. But clean she is. You know, I got a pipe wrench down here. I might just see if I can twist her tail with a pipe wrench. Hey! Mr. Garrett, how are you? I am fine, sir. Man, that is a beautiful Mach 1. So, I had visitors today, and a good friend that just beat cancer, so I'm actually pretty thrilled for him. He beat throat cancer, so he brought over his very nice Mach 1. He's a collector and restores GTOs and Ponchos, Pontiacs, and Fords, so he has a nice car collection, which I've got to get over and take a look at. Alright, emergency brake pads removed. You got 2 of them. Actually, they're pretty good sized, as you can see here. So, no different than what you see today, considering it's 1943 technology. The drive shaft is removed, which is one heavy son of a gun for as small as it is. So basically all I've got left now to drop the tranny is I'm going to pull my PTO here. 3 bolts on the bottom, 3 bolts on the top. Because I'm afraid when I bring this thing back, I'm going to run into this. When I bring this thing back here, I'm going to run into this, trying to bring this back to drop it out of the housing. So I've got my housing bolts, and I've got 2 big bolts on top of the spring up there that holds this thing. And then she should come back. But I'm note in the book, doesn't really mention the PTO, but I'm sure you got to take that off. There's no way you're going to be able to bring this back. I mean, hell, I'm hitting it within an inch. And that shaft goes in there more than an inch. So if I drop that off, I'll be alright to pull this thing back. So that means I still have to drop my, take off my speedometer cable there, and the brackets up on top. And that, the other last thing I've got to do is I've got to pull my PTO, take off. That's just 2 bolts to pull this bracket off the transmission. I don't need to mess with the emergency brake. I should be able to leave that into place. We'll see. I might have to end up taking that handle off. Again, that's just the same 2 bolts, and that pulls the handle off, the mechanism off. That's where we're at. Tomorrow I'll go ahead and should be able to drop this thing tomorrow. Although I may be painting tomorrow. I may be painting my deck rail depending on the weather. So this might wait till Monday. Doesn't matter. It's going to come off no matter what. Alright. Drop the PTO shifter. Definitely too high to clear our spring up there. This is our spring up here once we release our bolts. That spring is welded into the frame, or riveted into the frame. Next, we're taking off our brake mechanism, linkage, and then the 2 bolts that hold that on. And we remove that. So I've got to free this up right here. I've got a pin there. I pulled the cotter pin out of it and just gave it a little squirt. I'm going to give it a tap here. Let's see if we can get that thing loose. All right. So, one bolt, and then this thing comes off, and I, as they would say, will be shitting in tall cotton. Sometimes you just wish you had a little more room. Everything's coming apart on here pretty decent. I was gonna paint my deck rails, work on that for a couple hours, but I ended up doing some other goodies. Yeah, so once we have this off, we know we'll have no trouble clearing our Alright, there's our emergency brake handle. Give me an opportunity to clean that up a little bit. Emergency brake works great. My prawn. Come on, it's not prawn. Prawl looks good. I have to get 2 blocks put into the transmission, so I have to get some help. Get my clutch pushed in while I put the 2 blocks on case here. We've got our PTO removed, and I'm going to go ahead. I've got 2 bolts on the side yet left in here. I'm going to go ahead and pull those, and then we'll go ahead and release our 2 bolts on top and pull our transfer case out and drop her down. That'll just leave us a transmission. Oh, there we go. Hi, George. She finally released. All right, here's what we got pulled off now, right? Emergency brake. That's that whole setup there. Needs to be cleaned, and I'm missing a Zerk fitting there. My PTO takeoff, which is in actually very nice shape internally, but externally, just a lump. There's no distinction there. Got to get all this baked on stuff off. Transfer case is pulled, so all I've got left to do is bring my tranny down, and I won't. Quite impressive with all the mechanism. It's like the day it was made. So that's where we're at. Tranny's the last thing to pull here, and I'm going to do that shortly, but I've got to wait for somebody to come over, and I got to call in for my buddy to stop over just so I can place my 2 blocks underneath the bearing. All right. There's that massive brake. A bit of a challenge to get that apart. All right, here's where we're at. Trany is out. Oh my goodness. That was a bit of workout to get that bad boy down. Trany's out, as you can see. And I've pulled all the bolts. I broke, one bolt broke. Once I get that on, I should be able to get at it. Very frustrating. Might have to heat it up a little bit, and I think it broke at a point. Obviously, this will be all new grade bolts when we go back together, where they were torqued down, and I did take them off opposites. Yeah. So I've got I should have a little bit sticking out there, maybe a 1/4 inch. We'll see if we can get that pulled out. Let me get my light over here on our tranny. Got to do a little cleaning here. But she came down pretty good. I got a pilot shaft in them. Steve is sending me. He's a another half-track nut like myself, one of many. Well, one of few. There's not that many half-track guys out there. Anyway, so I hope you've enjoyed. Once I get that off, I'll give you a quick flashback and this tranny down. I'm gonna go ahead and I can get under. I gotta tell you, I can get under my dashboard beautifully to replace that oil sending unit. So I have nothing in the way when I lay down there. I'll just put something across, some wood, lay on that. I've got nothing to obstruct me from getting up in there and going ahead and putting a new oil sending unit inside my cluster. Alright. Wasn't about a slide hammer, but I got to looking at this thing, and here's what I came up with. I'm using a bearing puller, and I put a extension in there with a socket at the end, and this thing is busting loose. So I am almost there. Now, oh shit. Bent that a hair, which I can straighten out. Let's loosen this up, reset it. Okay. Got a guess here what I need to do. Get the tension off here. I'm going to pull these bolts. Let's pull these bolts. I think that thing will come out of there. Let's get this baby out of here. Gently. I have no idea how heavy it truly is. It is not light. Oh yeah. You know, my disc doesn't look that bad, but I'm going to get it resurfaced, a new one put in. Oh, I'm so thrilled to finally get this thing out. Oh yeah, she's worn a bit on this side, considerably. Holy cow, yeah. It's half the size of the other. She's worn out. But you know what? It looks great. I'm sure I can get a new surface on it. Let me take a look. Oh, this is smooth as a baby's butt. The pressure plate itself. I don't think I'll even have to have these turned. I think I lucked out. Oh man. So we'll end up push against was this thing here. Which, that's my bearing. The back end of that thing to pull that out of there. So I gotta tell you. So now that's the complete teardown. Anyway, fini. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. I gotta tell you, it's been a hell of a couple of weeks with my dog dying. 16 years I've had that guy. Oh, broke my heart. And went to Florida for a vacation, which my wife had planned months ago, and the day we'd get down there to our beachside house, we are in the middle of Tropical Storm Sally for almost 4 days total. I'll have a video out there for you can take a look at how bad that storm was. The house was leaking like a sieve. What did they say? Oh yes, screen door hatch on a submarine. That's what that house was. We actually left it for 2 days and went to Orlando to stay with family. Tough couple of weeks. I miss my buddy. So grateful I had him that many years. Anyway, not trying to be a downer here, just keeping my fan club informed of what's going on. Thanks for watching. Take care. God bless. Bye.